If you've ever been told boys just talk late or that bilingual homes confuse babies, this video is for you. I'm Dr. Mona Amin, pediatrician mom, and today we're busting some of the biggest myths around early speech. From bilingualism to baby talk to screen time, I'm unpacking what actually helps language development and what might be holding it back. And hey, if you're into grounded, science-backed parenting without the guilt trip, hit that subscribe button right now because here we don't do guesswork, we do guidance. Let's dive in. Let's start with some of the most common myths I hear when it comes to what actually shapes early language and what doesn't. Boys just talk later than girls. There's a common belief that boys are always late talkers, and yes, research shows that boys tend to combine gestures with words and later words with words several months after girls do. So it's not just vocabulary, they may also take longer to form those early sentences, even if they understand plenty. Here's an analogy. It's like watching two kids build with blocks. One starts stacking earlier, but that doesn't mean the other won't catch up. It just means you might need to check if the second child needs a sturdier base or a little help finding the next block. So yes, differences can exist, but it doesn't mean that we do not look at milestones for both boys and girls. So don't dismiss delays based on their gender. If you are looking for milestones to monitor in that first and second year, make sure to read my caption below where I have links to my free downloadables. We want to support each child where they are for their developmental curve, but there are milestones we should be looking at. Myth number 2, bilingualism causes speech delay. I hear this concern a lot, and I get it. You're worried that two languages might confuse your child or hold them back. But here's the truth. Research shows that bilingual children reach early language milestones at the same age as monolingual kids. A 2025 study published in the Journal of Child Language followed bilingual children and found no delays in babbling, first words, or early word combinations compared to monolingual peers. Even more, a 2023 systematic review in Frontiers in Psychology concluded that bilingualism doesn't delay expressive or receptive language development and may even support stronger cognitive skills like attention switching and working memory. Think of it like having two toolboxes. Your child may not use every tool in both boxes right away, but together they're building something remarkable. And when your child mixes languages, that's not confusion, it's multitasking. It's flexibility. It's a bilingual brain doing its job. And here's a tip. Speak the languages you're most comfortable with at home. It's consistency and interaction that matter, not sticking to one language. A good tip is to have one caregiver focus on one language. So if you speak Spanish and English at home, dad can speak Spanish, mom can speak English. Or you speak Spanish at home and the child learns English at daycare or school. Myth number 3, a speech delay automatically means autism. This one causes so much unnecessary worry. Yes, some kids with autism do have speech delays, but not all speech delays mean autism. And let's break this down. According to the American Speech Language Hearing Association, or ASHA, kids with a speech-language delay often still use gestures to communicate, like pointing or waving, show interest in people and social games, respond to their name, and try to imitate sounds or speech even if the words aren't perfect yet. Autistic children, on the other hand, may show less eye contact or respond to their name, little interest in shared experiences like pointing things out to you, fewer meaningful gestures, and repetitive behaviors or patterns that feel disconnected from social cues. Here's an easy way to think about it. A speech delay is like a quiet road that's taking longer to build. But autism affects the whole traffic system, communication, interaction, and behavior. And if you want to dive deeper into what autism can look like in children, I did an amazing video with a speech-language pathologist who specializes in autism. We talk about early signs, what's often misunderstood, and how connection, not just speech, is the key. Tip: if you're concerned about speech development, connect with your clinician. They may recommend to start with a hearing screen, and depending on where their development is at, further evaluation. Myth number 4, parentese is silly or unnecessary. You know that high-pitched, sing-songy voice we may slip into around babies? That's called parentese, and it's not just cute, it's clutch. It helps babies zoom in on speech sounds, recognize patterns, and feel emotionally connected. It's like giving their brain a highlighter for spoken language. And no, it's not the same as cutesy nonsense like little bitty baby. Parentese is clear, slow, exaggerated speech that's grammatically correct, like mommy is pouring your milk. Now here's what's fascinating. The research. A 2020 study published in PNAS found that babies exposed to more parentese in one-on-one settings, not just overheard, had stronger language growth and larger vocabularies by 24 months. So it's not just what you say, but how and when you say it. One-on-one interaction matters. And the tip, use slow, expressive speech. Say things like, "Hi, sweetie, how are you?" Yes, it feels silly. That's how you know it's working. This one's a big myth. People worry that if kids can sign, they won't bother speaking. But in reality, sign language supports communication. It gives babies a way to express themselves before their mouths can keep up with language. Research actually shows that using signs can encourage earlier verbal speech, not delay it. It builds confidence, reduces frustration, and creates more meaningful interaction. And I used it with both of my children. Tip, start with 3 to 5 common signs like more, milk, and all done. Pair signs with words every time. And if you want a baby sign language focused video, comment below. Myth 6, passive screen time builds language. I know it's tempting. You're tired, your baby, your toddler's bouncing off the walls, and that educational video feels like a win. But here's the truth. Screens don't teach language the way you do. Language development happens through back and forth interaction, not just exposure. A screen can't mimic the little moments that build language, like raising your eyebrows, pausing for a giggle, or saying your child's name when they light up. And the research backs this up. A large 2020 study published in JAMA Pediatrics found that higher screen time at age 2 was linked to delays in communication and problem-solving skills by age 3. The more time spent passively watching, the fewer opportunities kids had to practice those essential skills in real life. Now, to be clear, this study didn't include children under 2, but based on what we know about brain development, those early infant and toddler years are especially sensitive, more so than an over 2-year-old. Tip, under 1, stick to video chatting with loved ones. 1 to 2, if you're using screens, co-watch. Talk about what's happening on the screen, label things, turn the screen into a conversation, not a monologue. And for more on screen time, check out my videos here. And if this clicked for you, hit that like button and subscribe for more science-backed development and parenting support. Myth 7, if they don't have words, just wait, they'll talk when they're ready. I know this one is often said with love, and yes, some kids do bloom a little later. But here's the risk with wait and see. You could miss a critical window where early support makes a huge difference. Speech therapy isn't about forcing words. It's about creating a foundation for communication through play, connection, and interaction. And here's the science behind it. A 2020 review in Pediatrics looked at early intervention for kids with autism. In this review, children who received early intervention before the age of 3 were more likely to develop functional spoken language, had better social communication skills, and required less intensive support later on. Their brains were more responsive to therapy. And while that research was focused on autism, the principle applies to any true speech delay. And that's because early childhood is a time of massive brain plasticity. Getting support during that window doesn't just help, it can change the developmental path altogether. Now, I want to be clear, not every child who's on the lower end of a milestone range needs a referral. As a pediatrician, I look at the whole child. Sometimes a toddler isn't saying many words yet, but they're pointing, gesturing, following directions, responding to their name. In that case, I might give a little more time and watch closely. But having a minimum number of words by a certain age is still really helpful. It's one of the signals that tells us when to dig deeper. Tip, if your child isn't pointing, making eye contact, or showing communicative intent, and they're behind on spoken language, check in. We may start with the hearing screen, but talk to your pediatrician. And if needed, connect with a speech-language pathologist because wait and see might delay the very help that opens doors. Early support doesn't label a child. It actually lifts them up. I have 2 free handouts for you on what to monitor when it comes to language and communication milestones in the first 2 years. The infant milestones to monitor handout and the toddler milestones to monitor handout. They both include months or ages to monitor certain milestones or lack thereof. If your child is or isn't doing anything listed in these documents, please speak to your clinician. It does not mean automatic red flag, but we would like to know more to see if early intervention or an evaluation is needed. Getting a speech-language evaluation early on is never a bad idea. There's no downside, and it can give you peace of mind or support if it's needed. The bottom line, language development is full of variation, but myths and misinformation can keep us stuck or delay getting help when it's really needed. Your job as a parent isn't to know all the answers. It's to stay curious, connected, and open to support. So let's stop blaming bilingualism, birth order, or baby talk, or gender, and start trusting the science and our instincts. If this video gave you clarity, give it a like and share it with someone who needs this message. Which of these myths have you heard before? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more grounded, evidence-based parenting and developmental support every parent needs. See you all next time. Stay well.